Hello everybody and welcome back to Masterpiece Monday. Today we're going to be covering Has-Been Hotes.
That was a 70-inch plasma screen TV. So, how can I help you?
Welcome everybody to the Season 2 premiere of Masterpiece Monday. This season will have a primary focus on animated shows. And today we're covering one of the best anime ever created, Hellsing Ultimate. Hellsing Ultimate is a mid-2000s anime based on, well, the manga a few years prior. The series is about a group called the Hellsing Organization, and obviously our deranged little red psychopath is the main character. Alucard is a vampire who hunts other vampires, kind of like a vampiric Dexter Morgan. But the reason why he actually helps them is because, Sir Integra Fairbrook Wingate Hellsing, yes, that's her full name, actually saved him. Technically, he set her free, and he respects her for that. It's kind of hard to explain. It's really, really complicated. The whole show kind of is. Especially when you meet him. The best parts about this show are the character design, animation, and writing. The story is rather short with only 10 episodes, but each of them are still 40 minutes, pretty damn long for an anime. The animation for fight scenes are obviously great. That's to be expected. And lastly, the character designs are all very sharp, sleek, and heavily detailed. Not to mention, this show's atmosphere is amazing. In spite of everything, this show's OST is genuinely so fucking good. This show is a must-watch. I mean, if you like vampires, you're gonna love this show. Hellsing Ultimate is a genuine 9 out of 10, and a complete and utter classic. Now, I will admit there are two flaws about Hellsing Ultimate that I will list right here. One big thing is that this is only on Crunchyroll, and nowhere else unless you buy the DVDs. If you can't afford Crunchyroll or you have too many streaming services, there's always alternatives. The second issue I have with this show is that it doesn't really explain a lot. Some of these things you kind of just have to accept as a part of the world and just go with it. For example, there's only one werewolf in this entire show, and they never explain if he was born a werewolf, if he's the only werewolf, if he was bitten by a werewolf. There's just nothing. He's just there. If they gave better explanations for some of the villains, then definitely the show would get a 9.5, but as it stands, I still give it a 9. I hope you all enjoyed the Season 2 premiere of Masterpiece Monday. Expect way more. I've already got my next episode planned. Stay tuned, mates. Later.
Just who the hell do you think I am? We evolve beyond the person we were a minute before. Little by little, we advance a bit further with each turn. That's how a drill works.
Hello everybody, welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Masterpiece Monday. Today we are going to be covering a very special anime, Gurren Lagann. And oh my fucking god, this show is just absolute cinema. The studio behind this anime put their fucking hearts and souls into this show. Sorry for the overswearing. But swearing is necessary when you realize how good of a show this actually is. The animation, to the soundtrack, to the visuals, to the character design, to everything around this absolute fucking masterpiece. It's just insane. I won't spoil anything because it's a very well-written and well-made show, but all I'm gonna tell you is that it's a 9.5 out of 10, and I strongly recommend that you watch it. Now, here is where I get into the flaws of this show. The fan service is fucking atrocious. There's a whole episode of, all the characters going to the beach, typical anime-styled episode, and almost every single character, is thirsting for the underage 14-year-old. I'm not lying. I really wish I was, but she's 13 to 14 before the time skip. I'm not gonna lie, some of these animators and the way that they draw these characters, it warrants a hard drive check. I'm not 100%, accusing them of anything, but it is pretty creepy. But I will admit, almost every single anime does this. Hellsing does this, Dragon Ball does this, Naruto really does this. So it's not that big of a deal. It's all, to be honest, it's a Japan thing. Now, moving away from Gurren Lagann's creepiness, let's move on to the other flaws. I fucking hate Artenborough. He's an annoying big lip bitch, and I wish they killed him in the show. He basically does nothing until the absolute final fight where he helps with a couple probability-altering missiles. That's pretty cool, right? That's all he does. And this annoying piece of shit just spams missiles and does absolutely nothing to ever help anyone in the show. If anything, he makes shit worse. If you cut every single scene of him out of the show, it would be the exact same show. You probably don't even know who this motherfucker is. That's how unknown and how useless he is. Okay, but enough ranting. Final fight is peak, the story is peak, the writing is peak, the whole show is just peak, 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 peak. Go watch Gurren Lagann. I promise you, you will not regret it. See you all next week, mates. Later. Hello everybody and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Masterpiece Monday. Today we are covering my all-time favorite show, Batman Beyond. Now this is a classic passing down the torch style of story. Bruce Wayne's far too old to continue his life being Batman and has to have someone do it for him. Enter Terry fucking McGinnis. An absolute unit for a normal guy. Now as you know, this whole story takes place really far into the future. So people like Joker and pretty much all the other Batman villains are all dead at this point. So thugs in the future idolize and dress up as Joker. A couple of these thugs attack Terry, and eventually Bruce comes to help him out. Yes, old-ass, 88-year-old, I don't know how old he is, Bruce Wayne goes over and beats up a bunch of thugs with a cane. Motherfucker's Dr. House. Bruce Wayne then decides to go over and actually train Terry to be the new Batman. And when I tell you this is a perfect show from DC, I mean it. The only downside I could honestly think of with Batman Beyond is the animation. It's not Gurren Lagann or Hellsing level animation, but it works. It's a solid like 7.5 out of 10 in terms of animation. But the fight scenes, oh my god, the fight scenes! They put like their entire budget into their fight scenes. It's crazy. I know it's not as flashy as JJK or anything, but come on, you gotta admit, that's so cool. Villain design is just also, oh my god, they drew them all so good. Shriek is by far my favorite out of all the new villains they introduced. I say new, knowing full well that this show came out in the 90s. Oh yeah, and you obviously know this. The OST is just, oh my god, it makes me wanna. DC, if you copyright me, I swear to fucking God. Batman Beyond is the easiest 10 out of 10 I will ever give on this series. James Gunn, I ask you one question. Just please make it real. Please, I'm begging you, please. The writing, the storytelling, the characters, the protagonist, the setting, everything is perfect. Go watch Batman Beyond. I strongly recommend it. I assure you, you will not regret it. I'll see you all next week, mates. Later.
Wielding a shape-shifting master of darkness. Wielding a...
Hello everybody, welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of Masterpiece Monday. Today we're going to be covering a Cartoon Network classic, Samurai Jack. My personal favorite out of all of Cartoon Network's gallery. The man responsible of creating Samurai Jack is a very known figure called Genndy Tartakovsky. Genndy Tartakovsky is responsible for helping the production of Primal, Dexter's Laboratory, and even the Clone Wars micro-series. To say this guy is brilliant is an absolute understatement. And when making Samurai Jack, he absolutely nailed it. Now, the animation and overall style for Samurai Jack is a lot different when comparing it to anything else, because in the series, almost every single background that you see right here was originally a painting. Genndy Tartakovsky was a very artistic man, and it shows. The writing in Samurai Jack was also very consistent, only having like 3 or 4 really bad episodes. And like, I don't really consider any episode in the show to be outright terrible. This show was really handled with proper care, and it's evident by how good it turned out. You know the story. Everyone's seen the intro. Aku is known as the ultimate evil, spreading chaos throughout all of China. Originally, Jack's father was the one to actually defeat him, but now he's back. After most of China is destroyed and enslaved, Jack dedicates his entire life to traveling the world and learning pretty much any and all forms of combat imaginable. All to kill one person and set his people free. But after Jack actually defeats Aku, Aku says nuh-uh and throws him into the future. Now his goal is to escape the future and get back to the past. Putting a kind and noble samurai in a futuristic, very messed up world is honestly a really good premise. That on top of all the crazy good fight scenes, great character design, and amazing storytelling, this show is, in my opinion, the most perfect Cartoon Network show that they will ever make. Yes, that includes Ben 10, Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and any other Cartoon Network show you can think of. I prefer Samurai Jack above them all. I personally give it a 9.5 out of 10. But if it's perfect, why don't you give it a 10? Well, I thought the last episode could have been handled a little better. Season 5 made Samurai Jack a whole hell of a lot darker, so the tension for seeing characters actually die in a horrific way is pretty likely. While the ending isn't outright horrible, I wish it had a slightly better ending. Other than that, the show has no flaws. I highly recommend this show. It's an underrated gem. You will not be disappointed. One last thing to mention, while Samurai Jack's OST isn't exactly amazing, there are some standouts. I mean, come on, who doesn't love the intro song? I hope you all enjoyed this week's Masterpiece Monday. I'll see you all next week, mates. Later. Hello everybody and welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of Masterpiece Monday. Today we're going to be covering a rather lesser known show, The Legend of Vox Machina. Now this show is way more lesser known because, you know, Prime's two juggernauts being The Boys and Invincible kinda overshadow it. And that's a damn shame because Vox Machina is a great show. In my opinion, the animation is way better than anything Invincible's ever done. And that's not to discredit the show, it's just that Vox Machina has better animators. It is what it is. Vox Machina is my third favorite show of all time, and to be honest, one of only 3 shows that I give a 10 out of 10 to. One of the few flaws that I could see people having is that the show is pretty crude at times and, you know, extremely graphic. But apart from that, the art style is beautiful, the character designs are amazing, the fight scenes are great. There's practically no flaws with this show. The only real flaw I would have with the show is that the pacing in Season 3 is a little faster than the first 2 seasons, but that's Reed Richards level stretching right there. The writing, emotions, and just raw atmosphere of this show is just perfect. I highly recommend this show. You will not be disappointed, but the only issue with this show that is an actual big thing that you have to worry about is the fact that it's still ongoing. So you have to wait till 2026 for a 4th season. But other than that, go check it out. It's really good. Just an underrated gem. Closing things off, while Vox Machina may not have amazing OSTs, it still has its standouts just like Samurai Jack. I hope you all enjoyed this week's Masterpiece Monday. I'll see you all in the next one, mates. Later. Hello everybody and welcome back to Masterpiece Monday. Now I'm actually going to switch up my editing style a little bit, so let me know in the comments if you like it or not. This week we're covering Naruto, the original Naruto. Not Shippuden, not Boruto, Naruto. I know I'm going to sound very basic for this, but this is easily in my top 5 favorite anime. The character design is great, the soundtrack's great, the animation's great. To be honest, there's a lot of great things about the original Naruto that people often look over, because each fight had significant weight. You really feel every hit. Motherfucker hit Sasuke so hard he skipped him off the water. They really took their time with this show. Nothing feels rushed, nothing feels half-assed, everything is just very well polished. But that's where the only issue of this show arises. The pacing can be really bad. There was a really long fight scene between the 3rd Hokage and Orochimaru, and after their fight, they just stood there like this for nearly 10 episodes. But hey, on the bright side, the writing's still really good, the villains are still really good, there's no ass pulls, and on top of all that, it has some of the most likable characters you have ever seen. Even if Naruto has its flaws, it's still a part of the big 3, and there's a reason for that. Naruto is everything that a fantasy-styled anime should be. If you're looking to get into anime, then I highly recommend Naruto as your first. It's got a lot of content you can sink your teeth into, it's very accessible, it's got a hell of a lot of good fight scenes, and it's just a hell of a time. If you've got time on your hands and you don't know what to watch, then watch Naruto. You might like it. I give it a solid 9 out of 10. If the pacing issues were fixed, it would be higher, but it's still a good watch. We're doubling up on the anime next week. Later, mates. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to... Fucking hell, I'm sorry. I was choking on a Dorito. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. I am so glad I was reminded that this absolute gem still exists. When I tell you that this is the definitive Pokemon anime, I 100% mean it. From the Pokemon, to the animation, to the overall style of the show, it's just so perfect. There is no character in the show that outright annoys me. And that's a good thing, because a character that really fucking annoys you can sometimes really ruin the show. Ash's friends in this show are honestly really charming most of the time. This show really also leans into the very best aesthetic of Pokemon. The actual fucking battles. They put so much heart and soul into this show that when Gen 7's anime came out with like several seasons, it didn't touch a fucking hair on XYZ's head. Yeah, Sun and Moon had its moments, but not nearly to the extent of XYZ. Even the villain was pretty solid. He was nothing special, but he was alright. That is until this absolute demon killed him. Shit, I put up the wrong image. This absolute demon. Yes, I am not kidding. This small child had a legendary Pokemon that straight up murdered the main villain. And yet people look me in the eyes and say Diamond and Pearl's anime is better. Get the fuck out of here. This is the definitive Ash. Optimistic, charming, charismatic, natural-born leader. This is who Ash Ketchum is, and this version of him literally embodies all those traits I just listed. I'm not gonna lie, I only have one flaw with this show, and if anything, it's just a nitpick. Because how come you go over and you have Greninja win against a Pokemon that he is not only weak against, but then later on let him lose against a Pokemon he's effective against? I really fucking hate that robbery. Other than that, this show has absolutely zero flaws. I highly recommend it. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Mega Evolution plus good writing plus good animation plus likable characters equals a fantastic Pokemon show. I hope you all enjoyed this week's Masterpiece Monday. If you have any requests for animated shows, then let me know down in the comments. Until then, I'll see you next week. Later, mates. This show honestly doesn't deserve to be here. The character design is pretty basic, the story is almost non-existent, and all around, it's a pretty average show. But let me tell you why I put it here. This show is stupidly funny. One minute, it could just be like an average little school day in Japan, just, you know, just normal hijinks, and then out of nowhere, the fucking gym explodes. That's a real scene. I just love how unhinged and insane this show can get. Not to mention the side characters are also pretty damn funny. Just think of this show as like a modern day Azumanga. Nothing's really taken seriously, but you can just relax and have fun with it. This show is honestly just chaotic fun, and I highly recommend it. Characters are likable, comedy's pretty funny, and all around, it's just a fun show to turn your brain off with. If you want to know the basic plot synopsis, it's pretty simple. Nokotan sees right through the main character's act of being Little Miss Perfect, and she ends up finding out that she used to be a gangbanger. So basically, the whole show revolves around them two being friends so that Nokotan won't snitch. Simple, right? Well, not really. Nokotan literally does not sleep. This motherfucker is always messing around. But that's the charm of the show. This show was originally on weekly all the way back in September of 2024. I say all the way back, but it's only been a year ago. The charm and overall hook of the show was what's gonna happen next week, because you literally could not predict it. It was unpredictable as all hell. Combine that with very unhinged humor and you have a really good show on your hands. Not every show has to be amazingly well written for it to actually be good. Some can just be funny, and that's what matters most. Being proficient in any type of genre, whether it's being incredibly well written, having incredibly good animation, or just being really funny, is enough to make someone interested in watching the show. I bet someone watching this video probably has never even heard of this show before, but I'm certainly glad I get to introduce them to it. This show is a mess, but it's a chaotic and very fun mess that I think any of you out here in the audience will enjoy. I personally give it an 8.5 out of 10. I hope you all enjoyed this week's Masterpiece Monday. Later, mates. That intro kind of sucked, sorry. But moving on. This is honestly probably one of the best shows Marvel's ever made. You know a show's good when pretty much the entire cast is great. Honestly, the only flaw I would have with this show is that the animation's kind of dated, but it's okay for the most part. But one thing I don't think gets talked about enough with this show is how genuinely good the intro is. I mean, for God's sake, it feels like a final battle in a video game. This show also has crazy good stories. Wow. Shocker. It's X-Men. I mean, any episode with my goat Omega Red is instantly a banger. This is the same guy who in his first appearance destroyed half of Russia in a day, and it took the entire X-Men jumping this man in order for them to have a chance. They couldn't even beat him in a fight. Omega Red is just a straight up monster, and he needs more recognition. And don't even get me started about my other goat. The man, the myth, the Christian icon, Nightcrawler. I just love this character so much. The kind, courageous Christian. Just so cool. His introduction ending off with converting Logan to Christianity is just such a great episode that it's easily in my top 3. I could go on and on about how great the characters are in this show. They nail both heroes and villains. But the thing I like most about this show is the fact that they weren't scared to cover certain topics. Like Christianity, for example. Because this show does what every kid show should do. They respect their audience. Yeah, sure, they could just have 12 minutes of flashy fighting all over the screen, but that's not genuine. You could tell they really took their time trying to adapt the comics. And that's the reason it turned out great. Passion will always beat work. Because there's a massive difference between someone who's passionate about what they're doing rather than someone who just wants to get home. And with this, you can really feel the passion from this show. From the characters, to the soundtrack, to the storytelling, to the overall tone of the show, it's a literal masterpiece. And even with it being a kid's show, X-Men doesn't hold your hand. There is a lot of dark moments in this show where a lot of people die, mainly because of Apocalypse. But overall, I would give this show a 9.5 out of 10. It's no Batman the Animated Series or Batman Beyond, but it's still a masterpiece nonetheless. I highly recommend this show if you can get past its animation. It's got a hell of a lot of great stories to tell, and I think you'd love them. But for now, I'll see you all next week. Later, mates.
It's funny how dumb you are.
Hello everybody, 'tis the holiday season, and what a better way to start it off than with something completely unrelated to Christmas in any way, shape, or form. Rate the new holiday profile pic. No, this isn't up for debate. Gravity Falls is the best show on Disney. There is no other show that makes me laugh quite as hard on Disney than Gravity Falls does.
My ex-wife still misses me, but her aim is getting better.
I was laughing looking this up. But you and I both know that behind all the crazy, chaotic comedy this show has, it's really, really dark moments. Keep in mind, this show was aired on Disney and showed this. That's real blood. But while the show has darker tones, that's not the most important part of it. It's the writing, of course. The mystery, the atmosphere, the tone, everything is just so undeniably perfect. Now, I know I throw that word around a lot, but yeah, Gravity Falls deserves it 100%. I'm just gonna spoil it. No shit, this show is a 10 out of 10. Yeah, it would definitely benefit from like maybe a time skip with, I don't know, all the characters older and maybe a more adulty tone, but I don't know. That could fuck stuff up, so to be honest, I think it ended perfectly fine with the second season. Now, while the show's cast of main characters are pretty good, they don't hold a candle to Bill Cipher. Arguably one of the best cartoon villains of all time. Even in his first appearance, he's portrayed brimming with confidence, charisma, and just overall charm. But he can snap on a dime.
How about instead I shuffle the functions of every hole in your face?
This guy is an absolute fucking maniac, and I love him. On an unrelated note, the art style in this show is also really, really good and kind of underappreciated. This show constantly kept you guessing with who the author was in the original seasons, how they were going to beat Bill, and what exactly Bill was. If I had one complaint with this show, I think they could have made it longer, but that's not really a complaint, that's more of a nitpick. This show just had fantastic writing, characterization, and all-around amazing animation. And if you know me, what I like most about a good show and what I think could make a show good is a good villain. And this show has that in fucking spades. They even pushed the boundaries on what you could show by actually having characters die. But that's honestly just one of the many charms that this show has. I can go on and on about how good this show is, but, you know, we'd be here for hours. And I think this is where the glaze stops. Because no shit, I recommend Gravity Falls. It's an instant classic. I'll see you all next week for the Season 2 finale of Masterpiece Monday. I have a real good one coming up for you, so stay tuned. Later, mates. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Season 2 finale of Masterpiece Monday. Now, we already covered the best Disney cartoon last week, so I feel like it's only fair to cover the best cartoon in general. Rest in peace to the man who shaped childhood itself, Steven Hillenburg. Your show needs no introduction, my friend. Even if you've never watched SpongeBob, I guarantee you that you've seen a clip of it somewhere.
Jerry! There's a bomb strapped to my chest! It's gonna explode in 3 seconds unless you take a bath! Please?
This wasn't just a show, it was a literal cultural phenomenon. Every single solitary season of this show has some type of weird, bizarre, outlandishly funny scene that immediately gets memed to hell. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, that wasn't even 1% of all the SpongeBob memes out there. Here's a few more. Would you believe me if I said that this isn't even close to half? SpongeBob is so well known that he even made an appearance in the fucking Super Bowl. SpongeBob is everything that My Dear Friend Nokotan tries its best to be. No shade at the show, it's just not nearly on par when it comes to SpongeBob. Because while both shows are really funny and make me laugh really, really fucking hard on certain occasions, episodes. There's one key difference. SpongeBob had good writing. The SpongeBob, has their fair share of episodes that actually have good writing. Now, if you're a longtime fan of SpongeBob, you obviously know the episode I'm going to turn to. And to the surprise of no one, I'm bringing up Band Geeks. Something totally original that nobody has ever talked about before on the internet. But in all seriousness, there's a reason this is the highest rated episode in the series. The reason why Band Geeks is so universally beloved is because it also takes place from the point of view of Squidward. He's trying to show up his longtime rival, Squilliam Fancy Son, at the Bubble Bowl, like a Super Bowl thing. He's trying to show him up by creating his own band to wow the audience. Only issue is, they all suck. No matter what Squidward tries to do to help them, they just do not get it. They all fall flat. But against all odds, when they finally get to the Bubble Bowl and perform, they knock it out of the park, giving the character who always loses finally a win. And there's just something so satisfying seeing Squidward jump for joy at the end of the episode. His burst of happiness just makes you happy because of how invested you are in just the short runtime of the episode. So when people say that Band Geeks is a perfect episode, they are not lying. But my personal favorite episode is the Krusty Krab pizza. Yeah, the story's pretty simple. It's just SpongeBob and Squidward delivering a pizza, with the average SpongeBob chaos ensuing. But by far the best part of this episode is the ending. After a long journey, once they finally get to the customer, instead of thanking him, he just slams the door in SpongeBob's face because he ain't give him a drink. This leads to SpongeBob having a full-blown breakdown, realizing that everything he had just done was for nothing. But Squidward did not let that shit slide. He slams the bitch-ass customer right in the face with the pizza, and you get a satisfying conclusion of them walking home. This shows that no matter what, even if SpongeBob is annoying at times, he doesn't want to see him get hurt. He doesn't want to see him cry. That's still his neighbor. He wants him to still be happy. The character dynamics in the show are honestly great. Every character plays off each other in a unique and great way, and it's honestly hilarious most of the time. They also did something pretty rare. They had an actual good movie.
I'm nutting.
There will never be another show quite like SpongeBob. It's funny, charming, well-written, has good animation. The only thing about this show that genuinely isn't as good is the modern seasons. But other than that, if you stick to the original first 3 seasons, I guarantee you'll love it. I can go on and on about how good this show is, but for the sake of time, I'll leave here. And with that, this wraps the 2nd season of Masterpiece Monday up. Thanks for tuning into the 2nd season. I hope you'll be in for the 3rd. Also, if I didn't make it obvious enough, Prime SpongeBob is obviously a 10 out of 10, and I highly recommend it. Masterpiece Monday will go on a short break, but we'll be back sometime soon. So stay tuned. Later, mates.